What is going on with the Oklahoma City Thunder? Should we be panicking about their recent struggles? They're 6-6 in the last 12 games. I wanted to throw up this graphic with CJ McCollum because this man is straight petty. I love the banter, by the way, when you see players getting involved. And the Thunder still are 30-7. So let's make sure we understand the record is still fantastic. They're still first in the Western Conference. They still got the best record in the NBA. They're just not going to reach the Warriors' regular season record. And my biggest takeaway is welcome to the NBA. Winning back to back championships is not easy. Remember the Boston Celtics? They were expected to go back to back, and they hit a slump in January or really late December, early January. And people were like, maybe the Celtics aren't as good. And they did end up losing the playoffs. And the Thunder are just going through a slump. Now, I will say this when it comes to this roster, if you are able to not turn the ball over against their defense, you've got guards who are bigger, more athletic, and taller than the smaller guards of OKC. Because if you look at the heights, Isaiah Joe is 6'4, Mitchell is 6'4, Casey Wallace 6'3, Aaron Wiggins 6'5, Jalen Williams 6'5, SGA 6'6, Caruso 6'5, Lou Dort 6'4. There is no one at the guard position who's taller than 6'6. What does that mean? If you got guys who are 6'7, 6'8 at the wing and guard position, and you can play defense, disrupt OKC's flow and offense, and you're able to protect the basketball, you're going to beat them more times than not. Not to say OKC can't turn this around. Let's be clear. In the postseason last year, I was looking at the numbers for their 3-point percentage. It was at 33% in the playoffs. So people who say they're streaky from three, it's true, but what carries OKC is their defense. That's just a fact. Now, can they survive shooting 33% from three in these playoffs? I don't know. We shall see how that works out. But I will say this height matters. And people are excited about the Spurs, rightfully so, but they've never been in these situations before. OKC still has the experience on their side. Also, I get concerned about Wemby's health. I love Victor Wembanyama, but will he be healthy in the playoffs? It's a fair expectation to have. Is he going to be available? Because if he's not, then OKC is going to beat them. But if you look at a team like the Nuggets, they have more depth. Right now, Jokic is rehabbing. He'll be back in the next month or so. If the Nuggets can tread water, they got a big win against the Sixers. And if they can just stay within that top four in the Western Conference or top six, they're going to be right there. The Rockets, they need another ball handler, in my opinion, to help run that offense. And the trade deadline is right around the corner. If I'm OKC, I'm not standing pat. I am looking at improving around the edges. Number one, I'm looking for more ball handling. Jalen Williams, SGA can't do it all. So I'm looking for a guy not on the level of trying to think you're like a Cade Cunningham, of course not, but a guy like a Dennis Schroeder who can be another ball handler, play make, and take that burden off of SGA and Jalen Williams. So that's what I look for if I'm OKC, just improve around the margins. Then it doesn't hurt to add more shooting and somebody who can defend decently. It doesn't have to be perfect. A guy, an example that comes to mind is a Sam Hauser. He's not the best defender in the world, but he's a three-point specialist. So if I'm OKC, I would not be comfortable. I would not just sit around and say, okay, we're just going to run it back and everything's going to be okay. It is not easy to go back-to-back these days. It's very difficult. If this OKC team does not go back-to-back, it's just another example of you can have a great roster, it can be really good, but you got some holes. You got some things that teams can expose. Remember, the Pacers, when they played the Thunder, they matched up really well because they had multiple wings and guards on that roster who could match up and play against the Thunder. They had games where they did turn the ball over a lot. So if you're not able to limit your turnovers, you're not beating OKC. Look, The Thunder are still fine to me. I'm not going to overreact because they've gone through some struggles. It happens in the NBA. It's going to keep happening. But I don't think they need to be comfortable at the trade deadline. I do not have them win the championship again. I've got the Knicks still winning it. I know they've lost 4 in a row, but it's just so hard to win back to back. It's tough, and it's not going to be easy this year. Like, the West is tougher. They're going to make some moves at the trade deadline to improve around the margins. So OKC cannot just be complacent and say, we're just going to run it back with the same old roster. Not a good idea. Because remember, the 3-point shooting for OKC, I understand they shot 33.8% from 3 last postseason. Caruso shot really well from 3 last postseason. What if his numbers are about the same? That hurts the spacing for SGA. That hurts their offense. So if they don't have enough knockdown shooters, because you can have Isaiah Joe and Wiggins out there, but they're not really good defenders. So OKC should at least consider adding another wing at the 6'7", 6'8" height, just to add more versatility on this roster. Even if it's a couple guys who maybe not be the best shooters, but you can add more height just to disrupt the offense with their defense. And if they can shoot the ball a little bit, that's a huge plus. I think OKC should consider that. You can keep some of your draft picks, you're loaded there. But if you're trying to repeat, OKC cannot be stagnant. Now, will it matter in the end? I don't know. I think if the Thunder makes some moves, then it does position them to go back to back. However, if they sit and do nothing, they're not going back to back, in my opinion. They're just not going to, because you see the weaknesses at their guard position and wing position. They struggle with taller guards and wings. And if you're able to protect the basketball, then you're going to beat them. Now, reminder, now I understand that fans from OKC are probably going to say, well, we're 30-7. Great. The Celtics had a great record last year, and they didn't go back to back. They got knocked down in the second round. So nobody's invincible. And if other teams around the league are adding more pieces to get themselves in position to go out and knock you out, and you sit on the sidelines and do nothing to bolster the roster, you're going to look back at the trade deadline and wonder, why didn't we just make any moves, like just around the edges? So we're in prime position for those other teams who got better. Look, I understand you've got a young roster. You got some great players, no doubt about it. You can draft these guys in the offseason. But the Thunder have a shot to build something very special here. However, we just can't be complacent. So we'll see how this all plays out. If you guys enjoyed my reaction to the Thunder's struggles, love to hear your thoughts about what's going on here. And what would you do if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder? Would you stand pat at the trade deadline? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.